Hello everyone, today we are having a look at Foxeer Aura 7-inch long-range frame. It's a very nice frame, and this is the box. It's an empty box because I immediately had to build it. I could not wait a second. Inside of that box there is another box, which in my case contains 2 die ribs because I had to build my frame immediately. Inside, let's talk about the parts I did not use. There is a very nice 3D print. Actually, all the 3D prints are super nice. This is a separate one you can use to house GPS, which you probably will do on a craft like that. There is some antenna mounts, which in my case I did not use because I went with air unit. This is the frame. What you also receive are those very nice cable protectors, longer for the rear, shorter for the front. Obviously, you actually get an aluminium screw with the nut to hold your GoPro, which is great because there is just no need to put steel there. All the 3D prints, which are really nice quality, I was super surprised. And obviously you get the frame, the pads, all the typical jazz. And let me tell you, the frame is really well made. All the edges are actually smooth. Carbon looks amazing. The frame is crazy stiff. There is no sharp edges. It can accommodate all the possible VTXs. If you have a Vista, you can just bolt it directly. If you need 30 by 30 in the rear, you have it as well. And of course, you get more prints for instance, like in my case, for air unit, which is matching it perfectly. So I have air unit just sitting in this 3D print, not secured by anything else. I have the extensions here in the back running towards the holder, obviously, which is provided, where I mounted my Lolipop 4 Plus left-hand polarized antennas. I have my GPS. This is the one piece which has GPS and air unit in it. Super cool motor bumpers, which actually act as a feed, so you don't have to worry that you will scratch something when you're not flying. So yes, a very, very nice quality frame. It's a dead cat frame, which means that there will be no props in your FPV, no props in your AV footage, nothing like it, which is pretty cool, right? Because obviously you probably will end up recording your flights with the long ranges and stuff like that. What you also receive are those 2 amazing lipo straps. This is a new construction. I haven't seen it before. It looks like fairly thin material, which gives you a very strong feeling. It looks like it's made of some strong fabric. I don't see it actually cracking. And of course there is a Velcro attached to it, but also it has this anti-slip surface which is glued on it, and a metal buckle, as you would imagine. It's actually a very good strap, and you get 2 of these. They are 20mm wide, so you can fasten any lipo and keep it from moving, so that's great too. So overall, what you get is an amazing package, well done frame, and actually very high quality 3D prints. You only need to build it, screws, etc. So that's pretty cool. Talking about that build, of course, air unit lollipops, that's what I mentioned. The stack in my case is actually quite nice. I have a Reaper 65 amp ESC, which went through hell and back. Seriously, this thing was on 1800 kV 7-inch racer, and obviously I tried to push it, and I did, and it just survived all that, which is pretty nice. As you can see, there is a cable between, but it actually is also very slim. There is no radiator, no nothing. It's a very good ESC. It's one of the more expensive ones from Foxeer, but this thing went through hell and back, and it's still working perfectly fine. I fly a lot above water and I have zero concerns, so if anything, this is a good testimony. F722 version 3 flight controller. This one is a more recent one, has USB-C. As you can see, when you watch it, there is obviously a newer version already out. In my case, there is a Ghost on top of that duo, 1 vertical antenna here and 1 horizontal here. I often see people mounting antennas in the back, and let me tell you guys, it's the way back which counts. If you fly like that and you start losing your RC or it drops, and then you turn around, you have a problem, okay? So anyways, capacitor, which is fastened in this with some additional zip ties and double-sided tape, so it stays in place. I'm using additional Maytag voltage regulator, which is converting success into something edible by air unit, which is obviously only forest capable. long lead. I power it from the back. You could easily do it from the side if you want, if you would like to be. Also because again, all the edges are smooth, so you are not risking of cutting your wire on the sharp edge or anything. It's a really well made frame, seriously. So in my case, I'm running 2807 1700. You would probably ask why 1700, and it's actually very simple. If I want to chase a faster object, I can with this quad. It has the extra power if I need it, right? Anyways, what's interesting also to talk about is props. Oh my gosh, I use so many props. So from the interesting ones, those are very cool props, which make actually tuning a breeze, because let me show you how stiff they are. Those things are seriously stiff. I'm actually putting a lot of force on it. This is a glass carbon reinforced new offering cinematic props from Gemfan. This is a 735 and this is 737, which I currently fly. They are amazing, but as you'd imagine, this is not a PC prop, so if you hit something, a branch, they will explode. So you have to consider, for instance, for cinematic flying, especially on X8, I would really consider them, because tuning will be a breeze. They will not deflect on a higher passes, but during the crashes they might disintegrate. But of course, during the crash with the cinema camera, you're screwed anyway. So two very good props. I also used two sizes of the new PC props from Gemfan, which are 737 and 735. I used both of these. They are actually very nice. Of course, I used the 740 triple as well, the old flash with the funky tip. I used the 742 double, which is the same prop but slightly more pitch in double format. I actually raced a lot on 7 inches on this. This is mean prop, very good. And something a little bit more new, 735, very light 7-inch long range prop with this super small hump. The only thing we have to consider is payload. I mean, this is a slightly more floppy prop, and you will notice the difference between flying something like that and that immediately, depending on the weight of the quad. If I have a light lipo, I can actually obviously use even 1100 on this quad if I am not pushing the throttle. Then I'm super happy on this prop. If I have a big lipo like 2200, 1800 with the GoPro or whatever, I would probably consider flying this. It gives me a better feeling, and obviously tuning is super easy. So something to mention about the props, initial batch of those frames had fairly compact distance between these two motors, this one and this one. If you would put a big guy like this is a very long prop, it's actually longer than expected. They would touch in the middle, which was causing problems to some people which bought the frame, because it's super nice. I myself, I designed a tool to just trim it, you know, because I had no issue trimming my props a little bit to fit. But of course, if you buy this frame now, it has a new longer arms. I actually already have a longer arms on it, so those two arms are slightly, like, I don't know, 2 or 2.5 millimeters towards the front, and then there is just no touching of the props happening, and you can put anything you like on it. I actually enjoy flying all of these props. If I would be to choose one to fly for cruising and not so risky stuff, I would probably pick this guy. This is a 737 glass carbon reinforced cinematic prop, and it's fantastic. I mean, this quad flies like on rails on it. If I would be to choose a prop for chasing vehicles, I would be thinking maybe 737R PC. Again, PC because, you know, it's not gonna explode, or maybe the older 740 triple. I'm not sure, one of these two guys for chasing vehicles, right? Anyways, Maiden. I had an interesting Maiden. There's something to be said about the quality of flight on this quad, and it must be related to the fact that it's so big and it has such big surface when it comes to how much air it pushes through the props, right? So Maiden was weird because immediately I found myself flying inside of the trees and exploring little branches, and this really never went away. So immediately after Maiden, this became my most fun quad I had, and this is really something you should let sink in, because I primarily race. I really like flying fast, but this is by far my most favorite quad right now. The reason why, it's just super fun to fly. You can fly anywhere, you can fly far, you can fly close. Ghost. It's crazy stable. You can fly through the trees if you physically fit. It actually has almost no reaction to wind. I've flown this thing in crazy strong winds without a problem. I have so much confidence flying this quad. I fly above water all the time. I've flown far away above water and it always came back to a point where I still did not configure the GPS. So that has to tell you something. Let me show you some of the clips. I have so much after months of flying of this frame, but let me just show you a few.